Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review the science fiction film, Blade Runner 2049. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We post multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. 30 years after the events of the first movie, the plot begins in 2049. According to text displayed on the screen, violent revolts involving their Nexus 6 through -8 replicants caused the Tyrell Corporation to collapse decades before, driving the firm into bankruptcy. Millions of people died from famine after the Earth's ecosystems disintegrated in the middle of the 21st century. Wealthy entrepreneur Niander Wallace, Jared Leto, who created synthetic farming, put an end to food shortages and bought Tyrell's remaining holdings to start his own organization. By mass creating Nexus 9 replicants, a new breed of mechanical people with altered behavior to make them more obedient than the older types, the Wallace Company has revived the replicant industry. Some of these replicants are also used as Blade Runner units, hunting down and retiring the few older model replicants that are still at large. These replicants have implanted memories and open-ended lifespans, and they are still used as slave labor on the off-world colonies, the Moon, Mars, and the moons of Jupiter, Saturn, etc. In the first scene, Agent K, Ryan Gosling, one of these Nexus 9 replicants, drives his flying spinner vehicle to a protein farm outside of Los Angeles in search of Sapper Morton, Dave Bautista, an older model replicant who was a member of a group of Series 8 replicants that had gone missing. Morton tells him that as a more recent model, K cannot comprehend what it means to be human after a brief but violent altercation. He makes the implication that if K had ever encountered the kind of miracle he has, he would never aid humans in the genocide of his own species. K puts him to sleep and is about to depart when he sees a flower next to a dead tree in the barren area next to the farm. He begins to look around as a result and finds a chest hidden in the earth. He asks his office to dispatch a forensic investigation team to find it. K walks back to the LAPD office where he passes the required baseline test for replicants. After that, he returns to his rundown apartment. He spends his time at home with a hologram woman named Joy, Ana de Armas, a futuristic type of AI, artificial intelligence, and despite the fact that they cannot physically communicate, they appear to have developed a close bond. In order to detach her program from its console at home, he has purchased her a portable hologram projector. Now that her software can touch objects, he can take Joy outside on top of his apartment building in the pouring rain. Joy is overjoyed, but before they can continue testing Joy's new skills, K is summoned back to the station. The forensics team has found a human skeleton and a lock of hair within the chest downtown. They belong to a woman who, 30 years before, most likely experienced problems after childbirth. The bone's superficial fractures point to an urgent cesarean delivery as the cause of death. K discovers an engraving of a serial number on one of the woman's bones, proving that the skeleton wasn't from a human but rather from a female replicant. Since replicants couldn't reproduce before, the identification generates quite a stir. Lieutenant Joshi, Robin Wright, Lieutenant K's boss, informs him that if the public learned that the distinction between humans and replicants were eroding or dissolving entirely, it would destroy what little of civilization is left. She tells K to burn down the farm, find the replicant child, and retire it despite his possible conflicted feelings about retiring something that was born and has a soul. She also commands the team to erase the evidence. K takes a small amount of the female replicant's hair before leaving. K visits the Wallace Company to ask about the female replicant's serial number and hair. Although it is now much more intensely lighted, it is located in the ancient Tyrell Pyramid. The number, according to a clerk, belonged to a replicant of an earlier generation. However, information may be difficult to come by because the company's prior digital records were virtually all destroyed by an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, catastrophe known as the blackout in 2022. There is only some raw hardcopy data left. Fortunately, it looks like there's still something. K receives assistance from a replicant woman named Love, Sylvia Hooks, who grants him access to what looks to be an old memory file with an audio recording. It belonged to Rachel, an experimental replicant who vanished 30 years prior. She can be heard speaking to Rick Deckard, a Blade Runner played by Harrison Ford. K discovers an extremely potent link between the two. K's ability to finally resolve the Rachel matter is acknowledged by Love. K discovers his former co-worker Gaff, Edward James Olmos, who is now residing in a retirement community, while doing some research on Deckard. Gaff informs him that Deckard and Rachel eloped after falling in love. K inquires if Gaff was aware that Deckard would eventually leave society. Gaff responds in the affirmative, claiming that Deckard's eyes informed him he was done searching for replicants. Wallace, who is blind but can see thanks to tiny drones, hears what Love has learned. He has just seen a new female replicant being activated. He appears to be compassionate to his creation, yet he also casually slices the woman's abdomen, seemingly exasperated that she is unable to conceive. He bemoans the fact that humanity has only established a little more than 10 colonies off-world. In order to move out, significantly more replicants will be required. He must design reproducible specimens if he is to keep up with the demand for additional replicants, which is constantly increasing. Tyrell undoubtedly mastered this, but the blackout erased all of his records. Finding Rachel's child is the only way to discover Tyrell's truths. He orders Love to get Rachel's remains and follow Kay to find the child, who is emotionally affected by his actions but obeys. As Kay shops for dinner in the city's entertainment district, a suspiciously hooded woman orders 3 replicant prostitutes to inquire into Kay's knowledge. One of them, Mariette, Mackenzie Davis, makes an effort to get him to have sex, but when she sees that he is carrying a hologram projector, she decides he is not interested in real girls and walks away. Meanwhile, Love has broken into the police station to take Rachel's remains and brutally murders the forensic officer who catches her in the act. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.